did you know that you can make these? Because I'm going to show you how. This is part 4 of the Sugar Skull series. Now, I had every intention of this being the last video, but it's not going to happen. If you're anything like me, you ain't got time to be sitting there watching a 2-hour, 2.5-hour video, so I had to break this up. I was going to do the male and female all in one video, but we're going to break it up. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to do the skulls themselves and how to decorate the male. The next video will be decorating the female and finishing up everything. I actually filmed her first, so if I'm talking about him and I maybe reference something to her or something just seems a little bit out of order, that is why. And if there's something that is missed in this, it'll be in the next video. Now, if you have not seen the first 3 videos of this series, there's a little eye right there. If you'll click on that, that will show you the playlist and you can watch the first 3. If not, let's watch this one and then come back next week and we'll do her. Well, hello there, gorgeous. How the heck are you? We're going to jump right in today. The first video where I did the backfill design, I decided not to use this because it is, in my opinion, too distracting. The background takes away from the skulls, in my opinion. Now, the white with the black skull is not too bad, but I had planned on and made them out to be opposites, and the white skull just gets totally lost on this. So to make sure, what I wanted to do was I made some pretty much the exact same as these on a solid background, and I think this is much better choice by far. I went ahead and made my bases. I went with a smaller edge, but honestly, in hindsight, I like this thicker edge better. There again, just personal preference. I did not film making these because, I mean, we're 4 parts into this video already, so, you know. But all I did was I made a sheet of black, white, textured it, cut out my pieces, baked. Then I took it out, did the back side, baked that, used some poly paste on my extruded string, attached that, baked again. This project has to be baked several times. So you absolutely need to make sure that your oven is at the correct temperature. Especially using the white, because it's going to scorch it if it's not at the right temperature, especially having to go in the oven that many times. The skulls, we need to cut them out. I got this cutter on Etsy. I'm going to look and see if I can find it. If I can find it, I will leave a link. I also have, I don't have it out, hang on, I have a larger one too for pendants. I actually made a couple of pairs of earrings out of these larger ones 2 years ago. That, sorry, didn't mean to hit the camera. I try to quit hitting y'all. But I made this design 2 years ago. It was a very good seller, which is one reason that I decided to remake these. Plus, I wanted to see if I could make them better. I will find some pictures and insert them for you so you can see the old ones. But they're not going to be good pictures because they're going to be from like videos and stuff. But anyway, I made earrings from these. This is my pair of earrings, but I made them too thick and they are extremely heavy. I can't wear these more than a few hours. So I'm going to try again and see if I can do it with a thicker, not thicker, thinner skull, and try it again just for kicks. But back to this. Okay, the cutters, I'm gonna see if I can find the cutters. I actually like this one the best, but I wanted a bigger one, and I contacted them and asked them could they make me a bigger one because I wanted one like this size to make pendants, and they wouldn't do it. So, you know, that's that. But I'll see if I can find the links to these. Now, to cut out the skulls, I'm going to use some plastic. Anytime you want like a rounded or a domed, slightly, I mean, that's not going to give you a whole lot, but it will slightly round your pieces if you cut it out with plastic over it. So like you can use saran wrap, you can cut a like a Ziploc baggie apart and use that. You can use a grocery bag. This is actually a produce bag, which I really like because it's super thin. So I think this works well. I like using this. I'm going to show you the difference between cutting it out just plain and cutting it out with this. So let's see what the difference looks like using the plastic versus not using the plastic. I don't use imprint cutters very often, but for this, I do like them. Now, you could easily sculpt this yourself and not use a cutter, especially like if you're just making a set for yourself, or just a couple of sets, and you don't want to have to buy a specialty cutter just for that. I really think these would be relatively easy to sculpt. Just make a like a teardrop shape, flatten it out, and kind of sculpt in the cheeks, the eyes, mouth, and nose. Be good to go. But I am making these for my business, so I'm making a lot of them, and it would just take too much time to sculpt it. Okay, let's see if we can see the difference here. Zoom you in. See, this one is a lot more rounded on the edge. Can you see right there where the light hits it? Whereas this one is a lot flatter. Especially the edge here is a lot flatter. And just the whole thing is flatter. And this is a little bit rounder. And that works with any cutter. It doesn't have to be an imprint cutter. Just, anything that you want to use that for. Anytime you want a rounded edge. Like I said, it will round the middle a little bit too. I didn't mean to pull that up yet, but I did, so we'll just move on. This needs to be cleaned up. So I'm going to take this, take a knife, take a sculpting tool, whatever it is that you like to use, and clean up the edges. It's much easier to do this now while it is attached to the tile. So get those nice and clean. And if you can, it is best to do this ahead of time. Mine have been sitting here for probably a week or two. Maybe not that long, but they've been here for a while. If you could do them ahead of time and at least let them sit for a day or two would be ideal. A day or two or longer. I'm also going to cut out my top hat. Oh, I forgot to tell you the skulls. I had that on a setting number 2 on my pasta machine. 0 is my thickest. I had those on a 2. I felt like that's what worked best for the imprint cutter. I wanted them to be as thin as I could get them because of the weight on the earrings. So I wanted to be as thin as possible, but still have that domed effect. So here I'm going to cut out my top hat. This is on the thickest setting of my machine. And then I did not have a top hat cutter. I'm sure I could have contacted Irene from the Creative Dork and got her to make me one. She is one of my favorite cutter suppliers. But instead of making a specialty cutter just for that, I searched to see what I could find that would work. I found this in my stash. I'm not sure what would you call this, a trapezoid? Is that what that is? Anyway, I found this and I thought that gave me a nice shape here for the top part. But then I needed this rounded part here. So I'm using an oval cutter too to get that part. I tried a round, but the oval just worked better in my opinion. I'll show you partly why. with a round cutter, I don't have one out, it would be hard to clear this up here and still get this rounded, and I just thought that the oval fit better. I want to clear these corners up here and get it as straight as I can. I'll lift it up so I can see. And then cut. And I may have to shorten the bottom a little bit and cut it again, but that's fine. Pull off all the excess, and there again, clean it up and let it sit for a few days if you can. Okay, I mentioned that it's better to let these sit for a while, and I'm going to show you why. This one is the one I just did a minute ago, and it's probably going to depend on your clay too, like how soft your clay is. My black was very soft. Alright, so if I pick him up, I mean, he like moves really easily. If I were to press him onto the other pieces, he's going to get a lot of fingerprints. He's going to get squished very easily. But these that have been sitting here for a few days, they don't bend as easily. I can, they're not going to, yeah, see, that feels a lot firmer than that one. I mean, he's still going to get some fingerprints and things like that, but nowhere near as bad. It won't get distorted as easily. Clean up the edges easier, because even if you clean up the edges on your tile, there's still going to be, got a fuzzy there that I can't get rid of. There's still going to be some cleanup afterwards, after you take it off the tile. I don't really plan these out a whole lot ahead of time. I just kind of make them and decorate them as I go. But I did plan out like which flowers I wanted on which shape, so I know like which ones are going to fit best. That's about the only planning that I did. I kind of like this idea of working backwards, like doing the back and then the front and then the edge. Now all I have to do is the fun part. Okay, so I want to do a little bit more cleaning up on here, smoothing out these edges. Once I get it on there, I won't be able to do that, so I need to get it how I want it now. I mentioned that I had made this design before a couple of years ago, and I wanted to say that if you want to make something like this, that you don't have to do the canes and the sculpting and all of that stuff. I did not have those skill sets 2 years ago. So when I made these 2 years ago, I just I used cutters for my flowers. Used molds to make some of my flowers. I did do a few color ombres and like use that with my cutters, but not a lot of those. And you know, I just made it work, and they were still really pretty. And like I said, they were really good sellers for me. So, which is one reason that I wanted to redo it. That and the fact I just wanted to see if I could do them better. I am using poly paste to put these on with. You could use the Sculpey adhesive, or you know, whatever adhesive you like to use. I feel like the Sculpey winds up being a little bit shinier once it cures. So I just like the poly paste the best. Now, if you get a whole lot of it where you don't want it, it will still show up. But I feel like the Sculpey shows up more. I'm trying to make sure I've got this centered and where I want it. It needs to go over that way just a little bit. I may not have put enough adhesive on there, like where it would slide. He seems stuck pretty good. Okay, so mash him down just a little bit. I think that's good. Now, normally I would never make earrings this thin. These are super thin. But I noticed with the first pair I made, and I still had those fairly thin. They were not quite this thin. But I noticed that they were pretty heavy. I mean, not like so heavy you can't wear them, but they were fairly heavy. So I decided to make these thinner. You know, it's just, sometimes you just have to compromise. I'm gonna do his hat first. Okay, this hat is gonna be too, like, I want it to be about right there on his head. So that's gonna be way too tall. I'm gonna cut this down a little bit. If I can find my oval cutter. There it is. There it is. There it is. Cut just a little bit off at a time until I get it about how I want it. I hope this is straight because I cannot see. You actually need to make them shorter than you probably think. Every one I've had to cut down shorter than what I thought I would. Okay, I think that'll be good. Now I'm going to make a band for it. I guess that's what it's called. You know, that little colorful piece of ribbon type stuff that's usually on them. I'm just going to cut a piece of this rainbow pattern here. Just cut a little piece off there. I'm going to take this little piece here and roll it out into a little snaily snake type thing that's pointed on each end. Here again, it usually takes a little bit. Yep, that'll be good. Okay. Now, I need to figure out about where I want the hat to sit. Yeah, I'm thinking right there will be good. Now, a lot of the other ones I have decorated their forehead with stuff. Let me show you. Like with him, see, he's got these flowers or flower petals up underneath his hat. So if I were doing something like that, this has to be done first. You lay this, what I've been doing is kind of roughly cutting out the top of his head where I want the hat, then lay the petals on there and then cut again after I get that situated and then put the hat on. I just thought I would mention that because I'm not doing it this time, so can't show you. I think I've got it in the right spot now. Hey gorgeous, if you enjoy my content, if you're learning something from me, please consider donating. There's a link where you can donate in the description box. It is so much appreciated. And I realize now that the band is crooked. So I wonder if I should just lean into that and make the whole hat crooked. I think I will. All the others are straight, so since the band is a little crooked, let's just lean into it. Make the whole thing crooked. And then hopefully it won't be as noticeable that the band is crooked. I like that idea. Let's see how he looks with her. See if I like this hat or no. I may redo the hat. Let me think about it. Well, here we are. You guessed it. I just wasn't going to be happy with that no matter what I did. So just going to take it off and start over. I know myself well enough to know that's what I need to do. Another thing, I wasn't thinking I need to do his eyes first. There again, in case the brim gets too close. Kind of like with her flower headdress. I need to do his eyes first. So that the hat doesn't get in the way of me sculpting the petals around his eyes. I'm gonna do this in the full rainbow this time. As I did with the female, I'm gonna do these from side to side and not do one entire eye first. I'm gonna go side to side so that I make sure I get them even. Okay, now I don't want to press these in just yet, just in case I need to move them. Yeah, see, those are a little bit too far apart. Need to get them just a little bit closer. Kind of messed that one up, but it'll be okay once I press it. It's slow, fiddly work, but I really enjoy the slow, fiddly work. I don't know why, but I do. Definitely need patience for this type of work. Okay, I'm going to take my needle tool and make my little, I think I'm going to start from the outside and go in instead of inside out. I'm cutting out some white. Thinking about putting these in between, but like out here. I think if I do that, I'm going to need a smaller cutter. Let me find a smaller one. Okay, got some smaller ones. Let's see how they look. Yeah, if I'm gonna use them, I like that better. Yeah, let's go with it. I think I like it. Yeah, I like the white. I think it brightens him up. Another option is I could put them here. Let me try it that way and see what I think. I mean, either way is cute. I wish y'all could tell me. Doing both is too much, so it's either the inside or the outside. My plan was the outside, but I'm starting to think I like the inside better. Some things you just don't know till you try. I hope whoever buys these really appreciates them. I don't know why this particular pair has been back and forth a lot. Just try this, try that, don't like this, redo that. but it's just the way it goes sometimes. I would rather spend the time redoing something than to be unhappy with it forever, you know? Because I know myself well enough to know if there's something that I'm thinking, I don't know, don't think I like that, I'm never going to be satisfied with it if I don't just go ahead and redo it. Oh yeah, see, I like that better for him, I think. Lightly press them down a little bit with my finger. And instead of going outside in, I'm going to go inside out with these. That way I can kind of pull them back off that crystal a little bit. Because they are pretty far up on the rhinestone, so I want to pull them back a little bit off of it. There we go. Not getting a whole lot of sparkle showing there, but I think it's enough. What I can do is take my silicone tool and push it out just a little bit more. Yeah, I like that. I'm glad I decided to do the white around the stone instead of around the outside. So now I need to finish decorating him. I think I'm going to put some petals on his chin. Because I don't think just this will be enough. If I just do this in the hat, I don't think it's going to be enough. Do I want to do green and blue? Or, no, I'll do the pink and purple. Just roll it up into a little bit of a football. Now this first one, I need to try my best to make sure I get it straight in the center. Yep, looks pretty good. This looks very stark right now, but I think once I get the white in his nose and mouth, I think it won't look so, you know, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. Okay, now I'm going to do a little bit of green there. I feel like I'm not giving y'all much instruction here, but it's just repetition. I do think I'll put a rhinestone there. I do that a lot of times when I do a chin decoration. I put a rhinestone there. So I put the little, that's too much. Do a little green dot as if it were the center of the flower, and then I'll set a small rhinestone inside of it. I think this one will be too big. No, that's good. If I go too small, you won't be able to see it. I did his hat off camera. Oops, dropped my blade. I'm still not like 1000% satisfied with this, but sometimes it's hard. I know if you're anything like me, you're going to understand how hard it is to just move on, even though you're not satisfied. But sometimes you just have to. You just have to sometimes. So I'm at the point with this, I've just got to. Even though I'm not thrilled, I just got to move on. Now I want to decorate his hat brim or band brim, whatever you want to call that, in between the brim and the band. Let's see if I want leaves here. Yeah, I think I do. I'm gonna put some leaves. I probably put a couple of little rainbow petals, but I'm just gonna put a couple of little leaves, and they're kind of up on the band and kind of falling down over the brim a little. Okay, I'm liking that so far. I still wish I had not put these on here, but it's too late. Just gonna roll them out, squish them just a little, and then just use my needle tool and just stick them on there. That one I got a little bit pointed. Yeah, there we go. Round it out just a little. Let's go with a piece of this color, and once again, you can't see what I'm doing. Okay, that's not enough. I can tell by feeling of it. Just scraping a little bit off of the blend there. I'm just randomly choosing some pieces here. That blue-green that I just used is not showing up very well. Then I'm going to take a little white dot. Maybe one of these larger ones. And put that in the center. Press that in just a little bit and put me a little divot there, because I'm going to put a stone there. He needs a little sparkle too. Oops, sorry. Didn't mean to hit you with my head. Okay, take just a little bit of that white clay. Make sure it's up over the edges. And there we go. I know I can't. No, leave it alone, Mel. It's not gonna come off. He's still missing something. I'm just not sure what. I almost think he needs some more of these white dots somewhere. We could do one right there, right in the center of his forehead, down from the hat just a little. Yeah, that works. So now you know how to do the skulls themselves, decorate the male, do his top hat, and come back next week. We're gonna do her, get her all nice and pretty, and then I'll show you how to finish up the skulls. And don't forget, if you haven't watched the rest of this series, watch this playlist here. That will take you to the rest of them. If you have seen the rest of them, go watch some of my other videos here. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Okay, thanks, bye!